Hello guys, this is your friend and we are back with a new fanfic. What if Anko decided to marry Naruto, part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. The beginning. The village of Konohagakure is one of the 5 major ninja villages in the elemental nations. It is located in the country of Hai no Kuni. The village of Konoha is infamous for its teamwork and his will of fire, that also says that all villagers of Kono Ha one big family are. Thus the teamwork, but it is this village that makes the life of one kid that should be celebrated as an hero, for protecting the village from the Kyuubi no Yoko, which is sealed inside him, to a personal hell. The name of this boy is Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto the 10th of October, 6 years old, Naruto had hidden himself within his apartment. Today the people would be more mean to him than they normally already were. Longingly he looked out of his window and watched the parents walking the streets with their children. Everyone had a big smile on their faces. Why not? They celebrated the victory of their beloved Yondaime over the terrible Kyuubi no Yoko, the 9-tailed fox, and therefore his savage of their home, Konoha. But to him this day was not a day to celebrate as much as he would like to. As soon as it went dark and the first sake bottles ended empty, the mood of the people switched from happy to pure murder. They mourned their beloved ones that were killed by the Kyuubi, and he was their vessel through which they released their anger, hate and thoughts of revenge. The sun had just vanished behind the horizon as he heard the first shouts from the streets. Where is the little devil? Today we will get our revenge. Today we will free the village from this plague. Naruto sat in the corner of his room and hoped that they wouldn't find him, but to no avail. Kami seemed to have no mercy for him. With a loud thud followed by a loud crack, the door to his apartment bursted of the hinges and into the room. Soon after was his only safe place flooded with an angry mob, looking to purge the village from the evil, and to end what the Yondaime began. Desperately Naruto tried to get deeper into the corner of his room, wishing that he could simply mold with the wall. But again he had to find out that there was no hope for him. A few of the stronger villagers formed a ring in the middle of the room and had their fun kicking him around like a football, carefully not to hit his head so he would remain conscious, whilst the rest watched, cheering and they heard the snapping of his bones, tendons and muscles. After the good amount of 10 to 15 minutes they had enough as the shouts to finally kill him got louder and more frequent. While the civilians looked from one to the next to see who would get the honor to kill the demon, Naruto's hoarse, cracked voice was heard. Why do you do that? I never hurt as someone. Silence, demon. You killed my wife and my daughter and for that you will pay. Shouted an enraged man back, slowly pulling a knife out of his belt. Under the cheers of the other villagers present, he brought the knife over his head ready to strike. Overwhelmed with fear Naruto closed his eyes silently praying that it would be short and painless. But the man seemed to have no intention to end it fast as he thrusted the knife in Naruto's right shoulder, nailing him to the floor. At first he tried to hold the scream. He knew that his torturers loved it to hear him scream even in his 6-year-old mind this was clear, but as the knife in his shoulder was turned he could not longer hold it and in a scream loud enough to still be heard a few blocks around his complex escaped his mouth. Why? What did I do to you? He sobbed as he clutched his pierced shoulder. Enraged the knife was ripped out of his wound. You can't foul us, you demon. You killed them and therefore you will die. And with this the knife descended upon the boy, to pierce his head. To Naruto everything seemed to slow down. He could see the ecstatic faces of the villagers, the contorted face of the man above him and over all the descending knife. Shortly before it hit him he shut his eyes tightly, awaiting the pain. But nothing happened. Confused he opened his eyes and immediately he shrugged back, that as if there were not the floor underneath him. The knife was only an inch away of his face. His eyes traveled along the blade to the arm holding the knife. Another hand had grabbed the man's wrist effectively stopping him. The hand belonged to a man with an Anbu mask of a weasel. How dare you to hurt him? was the silently spoken question that floated through the room. No one dared to speak, too shocked of the sudden arrival of the Anbu. A man in the crowd shook off his shock and yelled, "He is the demon, he has to pay." Quote. Approval was displayed on the faces of the others. Is that so? Hope began to rise in the villagers. With an Anbu on their side, the demon had no chance. Then let me show you. Weasel slowly began. The man that held the knife grabbed his throat in shock. Blood spurted through his fingers. The villagers did not even see the strike that cut his throat. What happens to those that lay hand on Naruto? With that, the Anbu vanished from view. As the first persons broke down, the villagers panicked and tried to escape the apartment, but to their despair the Anbu stood in the door waiting for them. Not one of the villagers survived the massacre. Slowly the Anbu with the weasel mask kneeled down next to Naruto, as to not frighten him any further. "I'll bring you to the hospital, I won't hurt you." Naruto grabbed the outhold hand of the Anbu, who picked him carefully up. With Naruto in his arms, he left the complex over the roofs in the direction of the hospital. As they were halfway to the hospital, Naruto's voice was heard. "Thank you," he muttered before he lost consciousness. A small smile adorned the face of the Anbu behind the mask. "No problem, Naruto-kun." After he had made sure that Naruto would be treated, he left to the Hokage tower. Hokage Hiruzen Sarutobi, Hokage of Konoha, just returned from a council meeting. Over young Naruto as Weasel appeared in his office. "Hokage-sama," the Anbu said while he kneeled before the Hokage. "What happened, Weasel?" asked the Hokage, but he feared that he already knew the answer. "Naruto Uzumaki was attacked in his apartment. I brought him to the hospital, they treat him at the moment." Weasel answered with a voice void of any emotion. Behind his desk the Hokage was seething. He knew it. Each year the damn council kept him from Naruto with some obscure reasons for a meeting, but there was nothing he could do. If they wanted a meeting, he had to come if he had no grave reason to decline. "What happened?" he asked with impressed voice, that clearly held his anger. "I was patrolling the area when I heard a scream. I rushed to the source as fast as I could. It was Naruto's apartment. As I entered, a civilian was to ram a knife in Naruto's head. I could stop him before he could hurt Naruto any further. After that I killed all persons present, except Naruto of course. As they had broken your law and called him a demon, broke into his apartment and tried to kill him. After I had dispatched of the civilians, I brought Naruto to the hospital. After a short persuasion of the nurses and the doctor to take care of him, I left to report to you." A grim smile was on the Hokage's face. "Good work, Weasel. Dismissed." "Hi, Hokage-sama," Weasel said and left in a sunshine. "I'm sorry, Naruto, again I couldn't protect you. Please forgive this old man." A moment later the room was empty as the Hokage sunshine to the hospital to look after his surrogate grandson. Naruto As Naruto woke up, he was shortly blinded. Too bright. After he had blinked a few times, he could see the white walls and the clean smell of the room entered his nose. "I'm in the hospital. Again." As he looked to his left, he found the old man sitting there on a chair. "Hello, Naruto. How do you feel?" "I'm fine, Gigi. I'm used to it," Naruto said, a smile splitting his face, while his eyes were shut. As he opened them again, he saw the sad face of the old man. Nobody should be used to being beaten up or being nearly killed, were his thoughts. "I'm sorry, Naruto, again I couldn't keep my promise to keep you away from harm." Quote, "No problem, Gigi. I forgive you," came the answer instantly, followed by a bright smile. After this the face of the Hokage lighted up a bit. "Thank you, Naruto. Can I help you with something?" A while Naruto was silent, his jaw uprighted by his hand. "Hi, Gigi. Can you say, thank you, to the man who saved me?" "No problem. I'll tell it to him." "Something else, Naruto?" he asked, seeing the hesitation in his face. "Well," he looked sheepishly with one hand behind his head. "Last night my door was destroyed. I think your apartment is already back to its former state." "Really?" The Hokage nodded. "Nice, thanks, Gigi. Naruto exclaimed, while hugging him. Can I ask you something, Gigi? Quote, of course, Naruto. I know you won't tell me why they hate me, so I'm not going to ask. But can you tell me why the man that saved me wore a mask and who he is? Hiruzen smiled sadly at Naruto. You're right, I can't tell you, till you are older. But I can answer your other question. The man that saved you was an Anbu. They are special ninja, who are under my direct command. They wear the masks so that no one knows who they are. Why is that? Why would you hide who you are when you are so awesome? Interrupted Naruto, confused. Don't interrupt others while they are talking, Naruto. I was coming to that. The Hokage scolded him sternly. I'm sorry. It won't happen again. Good. So back to why they wear masks. Anbu do especially dangerous missions, but they are also really important. And so that no one can take revenge on the Anbu that did the missions, they wear masks, to hide their identity and protect on this way their family and friends. And the Anbu that saved you is called Weasel, and no, that is not his real name. Anbu are called after their masks. Nay, can I become a ninja too? Like Weasel. And then I can have such a mask too. If you want to become a ninja, then you have to go to the academy, and if you pass, you are a shinobi. On a second thought, he added. And as a shinobi you will be a lot stronger than the persons that attacked you today, so they won't attack you, and shinobi are not allowed to attack a fellow shinobi. The leaf without having to face drastical consequences, even the council can't protect them from. So you say if I become a ninja no one will attack me anymore? Yes, Naruto, they won't be able to hurt you since you are a fellow shinobi. How does that sound? Great. Starting tomorrow I train to become the greatest ninja ever. Naruto yelled, excited. What neither the Hokage nor Naruto knew was that in front of the door to Naruto's room stood a nurse and had heard everything they said. With a sinister smile she got back to work, intent to make sure that the rest of the village knew that the demon wanted to become a ninja. *********** 1 year later, 7 years old, ************************************************************ It was night and you could hear the yelling of a mob running after a young boy. While running, the boy looked over his right shoulder. This mob was bigger than the normal ones, by a lot. He thought it were about 2 to 3 times as much as normal, but of course today was his birthday. But it irritated him since last year the beatings he received from the villagers had accumulated. Normally he was attacked once or twice in a month, with the biggest on his birthday, but now the size of the mob of his last birthday was normal and he was attacked at least twice a week. Into the normal screams of, "Kill the demon," or, "Let's finish what the Yondaime began," there were now also screams of hindering him to take his revenge or getting stronger. He really didn't know why though. He never said that he wanted to avenge the deeds they had done against him. On the other side, it didn't really bother him. While he could not run from them in the beginning, now he could easily outrun the civilians. He saw it as extra training. Right the next day after he had come out of the hospital, he went to the library to get some books and start his training. Flashback no jutsu Library him there. Exited, he run towards it intent to find some books about ninjas. As he was in, he walked to the information desk. Sorry, can you help me? I need some books about ninjas. Quote. Of course, what do you want here? Someone like you is here not allowed. Instantly he hurried back out into the next side street. What now? He thought after he had calmed down. Where do I get infos about ninja now? Sadly he stood and made his way back to his apartment through the side street of the library. He just wanted to leave the street and go his way when he saw a little window to the library. As he came near the window he noticed that it had an broken lock. It was just fixed with a bit of tape. Immediately Naruto's eyes got a mischievous glint as his prankster side took over. Tonight I get my books. With a smirk Naruto went back to his apartment and awaited the night. Flashback no jutsu. Kai That night and in various other nights in the past year he had got himself some books that seemed interesting for his training. Basics of a Ninja, Chakra Control for Beginners and How to Train Yourself, Physical Training, were the most interesting ones out of the dozens of books he had read. Well, what else can you do if you are by yourself with nothing different to do besides pranking the citizens of Konoha? Suddenly he was ripped out of his thoughts by a whizzing sound behind him. Quickly he jumped to the side. A kunai appeared where he was just a second ago. Shit, I missed, yelled a voice behind him. Damn it. Naruto thought kunai meant one thing, shinobi. I can outrun civilians but not other ninjas. I have to shake them off in the side streets. With this he headed into the labyrinth of side streets in the outer parts of Konoha. After a while he came to an crossway and wanted to turn right, but to his dismay the ninja behind him threw just this moment kunai after him, having him jump back, taking another street. After 2 more turns he found himself in a dead end. Starting to panic he jumped behind a few tons with rubbish hoping that they didn't find him. A few seconds after he had jumped behind the can he heard how they come in search of him. Where is he? It's a dead end, he can't have gone from here, said one of the shinobi. Search the alley, commanded another. I will be damned to let him escape. Behind his trash can Naruto started to shiver and struggled with the reminding of all his previous beatings. Suddenly the trash can was heaved away from in front of him, much to his increasing fear. Found him, the civilian shouted. In seconds Naruto was surrounded by them and was mercilessly beaten and kicked. After the civilians had their part of the beating, the shinobi came forward and took over. He was heaved off the ground and rammed into the wall. Afterwards a kunai was thrusted through his shoulder, making him scream in pain. Enjoying it? Asked the shinobi as he leaned forward, his left arm rammed into Naruto's throat, strangling him and holding him on the wall at the same time. Slowly he twisted the kunai, provoking another scream of pain. Don't worry, we are not at the end yet, by far. We will make you feel the pain you inflicted on others. I did nothing to anyone. Naruto pressed through his clenched teeth. As a reaction the arm got away from his neck and he breathed in relief, only to scream again as his other shoulder was pierced. Don't make me laugh. We all know what you were and what you did. Demon, snarled the shinobi, before he led off of Naruto, who just hung on the wall holded by the kunai in his shoulders. Vague he noticed another one of the shinobi stepping forward. My turn, and shall I tell you something? I am from the torture and investigation department, so don't worry, you won't die, you will just feel a lot of pain. With that he pulled out a ninjutsu from his back and slashed in one fluent move from Naruto's right shoulder to his left hip and from his left shoulder to his right hip, forming a red, blood-seeping cross on Naruto's torso. Naruto himself screamed in pain, unable to move because of the kunai in his shoulders. Why? Why did they hurt me? Why did they hate me? He thought, while he looked at the mob before him cheering at his obvious pain, wanting to hear him scream more. During his looking at the mob, the man with the ninjutsu had pulled out an ampoule from his pouch with a clear liquid in it. As he splashed the contents over Naruto's upper body, Naruto started screaming. Where the liquid hit his wounds, a searing pain appeared and the edges of the wounds swelled up and started seeping. Seemingly pleased with his work, he plastered Naruto's body with sword wounds, forming a thick web of wounds all over. Shortly before succumbing to the darkness creeping into his eyes, Naruto wished for one thing with all of his being: let them feel it. Let them feel the pain he felt 1,000 times over. At the edge of his senses he heard screaming, and with grim satisfaction he dropped unconscious. Asterisk 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 Kurenai asterisk 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 asterisk. She was on the way home from reporting of a successful mission, when she heard someone scream in pain. Immediately she changed directions, jumping to the source of the screams. What she saw shocked her to the core. Surrounded by a mob, a young boy was pinned to the wall with kunai through his shoulders while a ninja slashed at him with his sword. It was obvious to her that the man just wanted to inflict pain and torture the boy. Just as she wanted to stop him, the whole mob went suddenly rigid and started screaming in pain before collapsing to the ground motionless. As she stood in the alley she noticed the chakra fragments of a genjutsu, and it seemed to originate from the boy who was still pinned to the wall, tough unconscious. Quickly she started picking him of the wall, heaved him on her arms and dashed him to the hospital. There she wanted to give him to the nurses, but they refused to treat him until she threatened to put them under a Magen, Narukumi no Jutsu. After making sure that he was treated, she sunshined back to where she came from, the Hokage office. The Hokage looked up when he sensed her coming. His eyes widened in shock as he saw her appearance. Her clothes were covered with blood, but she herself looked fine. "Report Chunin Yuhi," he barked in a commanding tone, not leaving room for anything else but to compile. After she had given her report, the Hokage was seething for anger over the villagers and their actions. "Bring me to the alley in which you found him." "Hi Hokage-sama," Kurenai replied and dashed out of the Hokage tower towards the alley, followed by the Hokage. As they arrived, the civilians still lied unconscious on the floor and the shinobi were awake but tied up by two Anbu who were watching over them. "Hokage-sama," they greeted him, who nodded in acknowledgement. "Can you tell me what happened here?" It seems they were under the influence of a powerful genjutsu before they all lost consciousness. Quote, "You were right as it seems, Kurenai-san," he said to her, before he turned to the Anbu. "Bring them all to Ibiki, he can have his fun with them. I already know what happened here, so he has no restrictions." The tied-up shinobi paled visibly, with wide eyes, and even Kurenai shuddered. Ibiki was the head of the torture and investigation department and had the reputation to be extremely effective in torturing his prisoners and to be quite sadistic. "Hi Hokage-sama," the Anbu said. The Hokage nodded and signed Kurenai to follow him as he made his way to the hospital. Once there, he went to Naruto's room and inquired a nurse about his condition. "He is already awake and all wounds seem to be closed, but he will keep scars from the incident." Quote, "Scars?" he asked the nurse, surprised. "He never had any scars." "That is right, but this time his wounds couldn't close like they normally do because of a form of acid that was in his wounds. It seems to be one from the T&I department. It practically melts open wounds together and leaving only scars behind. It is used to prolong the suffering of the ones getting interrogated since it closes the wounds fast, prohibiting blood loss, and also inflicts a immeasurable amount of pain." "I'm sorry." At this explanation, Kurenai looked absolutely terrified. "No, it is okay, thanks for helping him," he said sadly and stepped in the room to look after Naruto. In the room, Naruto was looking out of the window, seemingly deep in thought. His complete torso was in bandages. "Hello Naruto," he said softly with a sad taint to his voice. Naruto *********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** it every month he was here a few times. Just this moment he heard his Gigi greeting him. He turned to him with a big smile. "Hello Gigi, miss. Kurenai Yuahi Naruto-san." She answered his unspoken question. "Hello Yuahi-san. Kurenai is okay." Naruto nodded, before he looked at his Gigi. After thinking for a bit how to ask, he decided to simply speak his mind. "Gigi, are you sure about what you said about being a ninja would make them stop hurting me?" Both Kurenai and the Hokage flinched hearing the question, a sad look on their faces. "Yes, why do you ask?" "Because since last year they hurt me more and more. I promise you Naruto, once you are a shinobi they can't lay a hand on you without being accused of treason and executed, so they want. They fear too much for their own lives." The Hokage tried to reassure Naruto. "So you promise me?" "Yes, I promise you, Naruto." "Okay. Then in 3 years I'll be genin. Believe it," proclaimed Naruto while pumping his fist in the air. The Hokage smiled sadly at Naruto. While he was happy that he wanted to become a shinobi and had a good working attitude, he wanted to become one out of the wrong reasons, as it seemed to him. "Do you only want to become a shinobi so you are not attacked anymore?" he asked in hope that his worries weren't confirmed. For a while Naruto was quiet while Sarutobi waited for the answer. "That is one point of it, but I want to be strong so I can protect the persons I care for." After this answer a smile spread over the Hokage's face. "Good. That's the way, Naruto," he said, but then he became serious once more. "Naruto, I have to know what happened in the alley and please leave nothing out. It is really important and maybe it can help you in being a strong ninja." Quote. During Naruto's retelling of the night the ki rolled in waves of his 2 visitors. "How can they do that to a child? These assholes, I should castrate them and shove their balls down their throat," were Kurenai's thoughts, her hands tightly closed to shaking fists. The Hokage wasn't any better, fists white from pressure. He cursed about the village he vowed to protect with his life. And in the end I got really angry and wished that they would feel the pain I felt. After that I heard them scream and became unconscious. Ended Naruto his retelling. At the last part Kurenai leaned interested forward to the Hokage. So it really was him who casted the genjutsu, Hokage-sama. Quote, so young and casting a genjutsu, too bad I'm only Chunin, else I would have tried to get him as an apprentice. Kurenai thought, happy to have found someone promising in her domain. Yeah, it seems so, he answered before he turned back to Naruto. It looks as if you have a talent for genjutsu, Naruto. Sarutobi said, smiling at Naruto, who just hummed and seemed to get lost in thoughts. A few minutes later both of his visitors looked at each other before looking back at Naruto. Naruto-san. Yeah, he asked looking up. Do you know what a genjutsu is? Naruto nodded before reciting what he had learned from one of the books he had read. Genjutsu is the art of illusions. It attacks the senses and the minds of the ones it is used on. Basically the user can let the opponent percept everything he wants him to percept, from small things to complete changes of the environment. Genjutsu works through invading the opponent's chakra network with your own chakra. To disrupt an enemy's genjutsu you have to stop your chakra flow and flare it right afterwards, injure yourself or have a dojutsu like the Sharingan. Otherwise you have to hope that an ally infuses his chakra into your chakra network to disrupt the genjutsu. Quote, during his explanation the jaws of Kurenai and the Hokage dropped lower and lower, hitting the floor with the ending of his little speech. After recovering from the shock the Hokage asked him, baffled, where have you learned that, Naruto? Books. He stated as if it was the simplest thing in the world. Well, it was, leaving out the fact that he was 7 years old and most genin wouldn't have been able to answer the question on this level, but a normal 7 years old had something better to do than reading a book. He hadn't. When have you started reading, Naruto? If I remember right you didn't like reading much before. I started last year the day after I left the hospital. It really helps to know a little. Quote, when that is a little then I don't want to know what he knows when he knows more than a little. He told, judging from the look on her face Kurenai seemed to think on the same lines. After that a bit of normal conversation the Hokage decided to leave as he saw that Naruto seemed mostly recovered and excused himself with a comment that he needed to go back to fight against his lifelong enemy, paperwork. Kurenai left with him after sending a last reassuring look at Naruto. I'm eager to see if he will go for genjutsu, she thought before turning back around and leaving the room. As soon as the door closed the smile left Naruto's face. He leaned back on the bed to think. The academy started in 2 weeks and he had no doubt that he would be treated the same way as always, even by the teachers. That led him to the next problem. How could he pass the exams if no one taught him? After a few minutes he had formed a plan. He would ask Gigi what he would normally learn in the academy and learn it by himself. Also he would intensify his studies. All he had read until now were a few basics and mostly civilian knowledge. After all he was only in the civilian library. To learn further he would have to go to the Shinobi library, and that would be hard since it was only open for Shinobi and better watched than the civilian library. Means he would ask Gigi and else he would work it out like the civilian library. He wasn't called the prankster from hell for nothing. With a serious nod, he closed his eyes, sleeping in preparation of the coming day. As soon as he woke up he left his bed and put his clothes on. Just as the nurse came to wake him he was out of the window. Good more, not again, she said, exasperated. I wonder if he will ever leave the hospital when he is allowed to. With a sigh she went to wake the other patients. As she left Naruto was already half the way to the Hokage tower. A few moments later he arrived. Hurriedly he jumped up the stairs to speak with his Gigi. On the top floor the secretary tried to stop him, saying that the Hokage wasn't there, but wasn't successful. Over time he had learned to know when people lied to him. With a knock he entered his Gigi's office. Hey Gigi. He greeted the Hokage. Hello Naruto. Do I have to ask if you were released from the hospital? Naruto didn't answer that, but his sheepish smile was proof enough. Sigh, what can I do for you, Naruto? At first Naruto looked down on his feet before he looked up again and asked. I wanted to ask if you can give me the books and scrolls with the things I will have to learn in the academy. Quote. He briefly hesitated, because I don't think that they will teach me properly in the academy. To the end his voice grew more and more quiet. Naruto. Normally I would say that you should trust the villagers, but even I lose my faith that they will teach you properly. That's it, I will help him. The sooner he graduates the sooner they can't touch him anymore. I can't let this treatment from the villagers go on forever. No problem, Naruto. Come back tomorrow, then I will have everything prepared for you. So that you will have no problems in the academy. Naruto beamed with happiness. Thanks, Gigi. He said, dashed around the desk and gave his Gigi a hug. With a smile Sarutobi ruffled Naruto's hair. Nay Gigi, I just remembered you said I may have a crack for genjutsu. Do you have a book about it here? Because I don't think the civilian library has books about genjutsu. Naruto asked, after letting go of the Hokage. A thoughtful look on his face, the Sandaime turned around and looked at his bookshelf. After a few seconds he seemed to have found what he was searching for, as he pulled a book out. Here Naruto, that should be enough for now, but more I can't help you in this or it would be favoritism, which I am not allowed to. With a nod Naruto took the book and left the office after another thanks. Once at home he made himself some instant ramen and sat down on his couch. Upon finishing of his late breakfast he began to read the book, quickly jumping over the introduction to the first chapter. General information of genjutsus. This chapter shall convey the basic general information needed by aspiring genjutsu users. Genjutsu is the art of illusions and deception. Genjutsu focuses, unlike Taira ninjutsu, on the mental level, meaning it attacks the five senses and the mind of the opponent. Genjutsu is probably the most versatile ninja art there is. It is independent of the environment and the condition of the body. While ninjutsu depends on the environment combined with the elemental nature the user is able to use, and taijutsu depends on the physical fitness of the body. Genjutsu instead only depends on the mind of the user. It is unbound of the environment or the physical prowess of the body. The quicker the mind and the more fitness a genjutsu user possesses, the stronger he can get. Genjutsu is only bounded by the ingenuity of the user. Another important trait of genjutsu users is that they are even more observant of their surroundings than other ninja already are. This trait is needed because of the fact that someone who isn't observant enough of his surroundings is quickly caught in a genjutsu and can't cast a genjutsu that can fool the enemy, since small things will always be off without a proper observation of the surroundings. The last of the necessary trait a genjutsu user should possess is patience. For once to be able to wait for the perfect chance to cast a genjutsu, when the opponent is dropping his guard, so he wouldn't notice the genjutsu until it is too late. A capability every genjutsu user needs is a near-perfect chakra control, since a flow of chakra into the opponent's chakra network has to be granted for genjutsu to take an effect. In the overall, genjutsus are divided into three main categories: single targeting, dujutsu, and area affecting genjutsus. The first type of genjutsu mentioned is, like the name suggests, used against a single person. This type is divided into another two subparts. The first one is the commonly used one. This one focuses directly on the enemy's five senses: hearing, seeing, touching, tasting and smelling. By manipulating these senses the user can make the opponent feel pain, let him percept something entirely different from the reality, or simply block out these senses completely. A good example for this type is the Magen Jigoku Koka no Jutsu, demonic illusion, descending hell technique. It induces the feeling of burning alive, dealing a great amount of pain by using the sense of touching. The second part of this category focuses on the mind of the user, which is considerably more difficult than the other option, but also a lot more effective. Because of the difficulties of this type of genjutsu, not much genjutsu of this type are known. The easiest of these kind of genjutsu is the Magen Narukumi no Jutsu, demonic illusion, hell viewing technique, which lets the victim face his greatest fear. The possibilities and potential of this subpart isn't fully discovered yet, but many believe that it is the most frightening kind of genjutsu. if the user knows what he is doing. The second category genjutsus mentioned is called this way because it can only be used by dojutsu users. There are two generally known dojutsus capable of casting genjutsus. One is the dojutsu of the Kurama clan. This clan is near extinct, as their dojutsu is connected with an inner demon, with whom they constantly have to battle over supremacy over the body and mind. The second and more widely known dojutsu belongs to the Uchiha clan, the Sharingan. Beneath various other effects, the Sharingan enables the user to see chakra, thus letting them see the chakra in the air that enters their chakra network, and secondly, with enough training, makes it capable to cast genjutsu on an opponent with nothing more than short eye contact. It is said that an evolved form of the Sharingan enables them to use a genjutsu called Tsukuyomi, Moonreader, a mind-attacking genjutsu which makes it possible for the user to contort the feel of time and space for the caught opponent, having him at the user's mercy. The third category is like the name suggests about genjutsus that affect an area, casting the genjutsu over everyone within the area. These kind of genjutsu are even more rare than mind-attacking genjutsu because of the act that fellow shinobi and civilians present in the area are caught in the genjutsu and they are extremely chakra taxing. The most infamous genjutsu of this kind is the Kokuangyu no Jutsu, Journey into Black Darkness technique used by the Shadaime and Nadaime of Konohagakure. All in all, it is to say that the amount of known and documented genjutsu is nearly not existent in comparison to the amount of written down ninjutsu. This is mostly because of the fact that genjutsu is looked down upon as an useless skill for shinobi, and the few genjutsu master only teach their apprentices their techniques. So each genjutsu user mostly has his or her own set of genjutsu she personally created. Next chapter, Weaknesses of Genjutsu. Here Naruto stopped reading, thinking about what he read. Amazing. I can rip an enemy completely off his defense or simply root him in place with genjutsu. Or with the villagers yesterday. I can make them feel my pain. And this Tsukuyomi sounds great. I wonder if one can recreate it without a Sharingan. They said it is mind-attacking genjutsu. And mind genjutsus are rare, that means I have to create my own jutsus, and the book said that most people create their own jutsus, totally gonna do it. Naruto shuddered of happiness, on his thought about creating his own jutsu. In his mind he saw already fall dozens of enemies before him. With a big smile he read on. Weaknesses of Genjutsu. This chapter is about the weaknesses of genjutsus. All in all, there are 4 general weaknesses genjutsu users are confronted with. The first is obviously that an enemy with experience normally notices a genjutsu immediately after it is casted on him, leading him to release it. The second weakness is the fact that genjutsu is, if used normally, a supportive mid to long range art. Thus letting the user weak to tai and ninjutsu specialists when they come in range, since most genjutsu users only concentrate on their genjutsu. Another weakness is the general problem, that each genjutsu user has to have a tremendous amount of chakra control, making it much harder to learn genjutsu than nin or taijutsu. And lastly, there is the problem of opponents with dojutsus. The first point mentioned is a problem with which a lot of people have tried to deal with. The release of the genjutsu through the opponent, with the help of stopping their chakra and then giving a burst of it, is the only one of those methods able to free one out of a genjutsu that has a known counter. Through increasing the amount of chakra infused in the opponent's chakra network while using the genjutsu, it becomes much harder for the opponent to overcome the alien chakra in his chakra network. If one has trained in this, he can effectively stop the enemy to break out of his genjutsus. The downside of this method is that it consumes a larger amount of chakra, tiring the user faster. The other methods of breaking out of a genjutsu currently don't have a known counter. The second point is easily explained. Most genjutsu users pay no time for physical training, leaving them open when the opponent comes into short range. The problem occurs because the users of genjutsu are often blinded by the possibilities of their Chusen expertise, letting them think that no one is able to come close to them. Furthermore, the study of genjutsu is not easily done, and by the time most aspiring genjutsu users are able to use genjutsu as their main forte, they have already neglected their physical training for years. The genjutsu users that actually have trained their bodies, mostly have trained their evasive tactics and speed to escape from the opponent and try the next genjutsu. The third point is about the simple fact that a genjutsu user needs a near-perfect chakra control. This alone is a great hurdle to overcome, since the more chakra one has, the longer and the harder she has to work to get his control up to point. Now there is also the problem with the amount of chakra needed for genjutsu. While you can use genjutsus with minuscule amounts of chakra, they then will be easily overcome, as in point 1 explained. With more chakra input in the techniques, the problem of point 1 is overcome, but then the user needs more chakra, leading to new chakra control problems. The amount of needed chakra and near-perfect chakra control are an issue a lot of genjutsu users despaired on. And more often their demise when they had to fight more than one enemy, leading to a fast exhaustion of their chakra pools. And lastly, dojutsus, especially the Sharingan and Byakugan. Both of these dojutsus allow the owner to easily detect genjutsus because of the unusual amount of chakra permitting the air. With the knowledge that one is caught within a genjutsu, it is much easier to release it. And the Sharingan also makes it easier to dispel genjutsus, since with its help the owner simply can look through the illusion as if it isn't even there. Until now, no counter has been found to this problem. Next chapter, Basic Chakra Control Exercises. After reading the chapter followed by the rest of the book, Naruto lied back and closed his eyes, trying to grasp the amount of information he had to process from the book. But if there was one thing sure for him, it was that he wanted to master the art of genjutsu. He knew that it would be hard, but he thought that since Kurenai and the Hokage said that he had talent, that it would work out. Moreover, he knew that he had a good head on top of his shoulders. After all, he did all these pranks and escaped the Anbu that looked after him. And lucky him, the book even held a rough list with points to check off after finishing. This way one knew when he was ready for the next step. But there were also a few things that occupied his mind for a long time. The book said that one needed to be calm and patient. He had no problem with it, but he didn't act as an impulsive idiot for nothing. It was late in the afternoon when he finally came to a conclusion. He would drop the act of being an idiot. It was for the best after all. Continuing to shout around and act like an idiot would jeopardize his efforts in the area of keeping his calm, even if it was just played. Deciding to start his chakra control training the next day, once after he had gotten his books from the Hokage, he went out of his apartment to get some ramen from Ichiraku. While he was eating, a thought came to his mind that shocked him, since it threw all his plans in the water. I can't train my chakra control. I first have to unlock my chakra. But how do I do that? Hopefully Gigi can help me tomorrow. Quickly he finished his ramen and made his way back after saying bye to Tsuki and Ayame. As he was home, he again took the book and read the first few points he had to train before he was able to learn the first few genjutsu. He had to be able to stand on the surface of the water. Simply the thought of doing something like this led him wonder if the author was in his right state of mind. While writing this, what the hell, you can't stand on water? I bet Gigi wanted to make fun of me. Just you wait, old man, if this really was a joke you want, like what I do with your little orange books, he. With a mischievous smile he put the book on his couch and went to bed, so he was early up the next day. He had training to do. As soon as the sun shined into his room and hit his face, Naruto woke up. Quickly he made himself his usual breakfast, instant ramen. While the water boiled he showered, cursing because the owner had closed off the warm water, again. It was the 5th time this month and it was only the 12th. With a sigh he dried himself and went in the kitchen to eat his breakfast. After finishing he put his usual orange jumpsuit on, although with a disdain. He didn't like it, but it was the only thing they sold him. Shaking off his negative mood he made his way to the Hokage Tower to get his books, ask a few questions and if necessary take his revenge. After arriving on the top floor he again ignored the secretary's attempt to keep him from the Hokage and went into his Gigi's office. Hey Gigi. Hello Naruto. The Hokage greeted back and heaved up a bag filled with different books and a few scrolls, 3 to be exact. Here are your books and the scrolls for the Academy 3 jutsus you have to learn during your 3 years in the academy. Taking the bag, Naruto thanked him. Say Gigi, I read the book you gave me yesterday and I wanted to start the trainings list on the end of it today. The first point is leave sticking, but I haven't unlocked my chakra yet. I know we learn that in the academy but only next year and I want to start training now, so can you help me or give me a description how to do so? The Sandaime had a look of wonder on his face. He wants to start the trainings list. That means he read the whole book. I never knew he was this much into reading. Naruto, I didn't know you were into reading this much. Quote, well, I would read more but the library always kicks me out so I have to sneak in and read when no one is there. But what is it, Gigi? Do you help me? He gets kicked out. I wonder what else the villagers do to him he doesn't tell me. Single quote. Well, Naruto, you are right, normally you would learn that next year in the academy, but since you show interest there is nothing prohibiting you on unlocking your chakra now. After all, the kids of the Shinobi clans too start doing so when they enter the academy. Let's see, I know you don't trust a lot of people so I will help you. Can you wait for half an hour? I first have to finish something, after that we go to my compound and unlock your chakra. This way no one tries to inhibit him during it and I have an eye on him should the fox try something. Single quote. Okay Gigi, thanks, I will wait. Naruto said and sat down on the couch placed near the wall. Exactly half an hour later the Hokage finished his work, but was in astonishment. Not once had he heard Naruto scream around or even whine for having to wait for so long. What happened to you, Naruto? Normally you would run around screaming at everyone and everything that you had to wait for so long. Well Gigi, you see, I decided to drop the act of being a complete idiot. The book said to become a good genjutsu user you have to be patient and calm so you don't miss anything. The book seems to have worked wonders, but what do you mean you dropped the act, because I don't remember seeing you like this ever before. Naruto nervously looked down, scratching the back of his head. I think it started a few years ago when I was beaten. I noticed they hurt me less often when I looked and behaved like an idiot. I noticed a few months later that I had unconsciously started to always act like an idiot around everyone. To get hurt less. I thought it was a good thing and only stopped when I was at home or alone. But yesterday after reading the book I decided that if I would continue to act like that I would sabotage my training for genjutsu, since it states that to become a good genjutsu user you have to have yours LF under control and keep calm in all situations, and at general level each shinobi should be able to do so. But well, sorry that I acted around you before too. I know I can trust you but there are always people around even if it are just your personal Anbu hiding behind the walls at the moment. Quote. At first the Sandaime's face hardened as he heard that Naruto had to make himself out to be an idiot only to be hurt a little less. Then it softened at the display of trust to him, but finally showed his wonder at the knowledge of his personal Anbu. I'm glad you trust me, Naruto, but how do you know about my personal guard? He thought to himself. It is okay, you did what you thought to be the right thing to do. But can you tell me how you know about the Anbu? Quote. It's not so hard, I developed a sense if someone is around me or not. It is like my seeing if someone is lying to me. With a thoughtful nod the Hokage stored what he heard away for later. He had made Naruto wait long enough. Okay. Now let's go, a trainings ground is waiting for us. Naruto nodded. The Hokage placed his hand on Naruto's shoulder and shunshined away with him. As Naruto could see again, he saw that he was standing on a large open ground with a house in the far. He identified as his Gigi's. This Naruto is my personal trainings ground behind my compound. Sarutobi said as he saw Naruto looking around. After Naruto looked up to him seemingly waiting for something, he continued. Now to activate your chakra. I will give you a few instructions I want you to do. There is no need to rush something, some people don't even get it at their first attempt, so don't be nervous or disappointed if it doesn't work at once, okay? After Naruto nodded he went on. Good, now stand comfortable and close your eyes. Now I want you to concentrate on your body. As Naruto became still he told him the next step. Now let your concentration float to a point 1 inch under your navel. There search for something warm and soothing. Don't be afraid if you feel a rush in your body, just keep calm. Then he waited for what would happen. Naruto slowly let his concentration wander down his body until he reached the point his Jiji had described. He concentrated a while and had the feeling of sinking deeper inside himself, then he felt something warm. It was blue. Without a bit of hesitation he reached after it. Suddenly he felt this feeling spread through his whole body, filling it, then after it had filled his body, it exploded outside of him. Slowly he opened his eyes, a wide smile on his face as he saw his Jiji's stunned face. He never had felt such an amount of chakra from someone as young as Naruto, let alone while activating his chakra network. It was so much that it built a small dome around him. Naruto, I want you let the chakra flow through your body, just imagine that it flows through you just like your blood. Slowly Naruto felt the chakra recede back into his body as he imagined it flowing through his body. After a while he felt it flowing through him without him imagine it. Then he looked at his Jiji with a big smile. That turned even brighter as he heard his words. Good work Naruto. Not only did you unlock your chakra on your first try, but you also have a really large amount of it. I'm interested to see how much it is, once it is settled in a few hours. Now you said something about chakra control, right? I will show you the tasks that stand on your list. I'm sure you think they are simply crazy. As the Hokage ended, he had a knowing smile on his face. Everyone who first heard of water walking, thought that the person talking got hit too hard on the head. Yay, thanks Jiji. On my list stands at first leaf sticking exercise, then tree walking and then water walking. After that the list says that I can try the first easy genjutsu, and when I got these down there are more exercises, but I think I just need to know the first 3 for now. The Hokage nodded. That's right, you will have enough to do with the first 3 for a while. With that he walked towards the trees that were on one side of the trainings ground, motioning Naruto to follow him. Once there he picked up 2 leaves. Now Naruto the first exercise leaf sticking. Then he put one of the leaves on his forehead, it fell immediately down. As you see, without or to less chakra the leaf doesn't stick and falls down, now with too much chakra. He put the leaf back on, suddenly the leaf bursted from his forehead, ripped to shreds. If you use the right amount of chakra the leaf sticks on your forehead. He took the second leaf and put it on his forehead. Then he bowed down with his head, while the leaf still stayed on his forehead without moving. You see? He asked rhetorically. Naruto nodded, stunned, making the Hokage grin. Good, remember the right amount, not more and not less, else it won't work. Now for the next exercise. Tree walking. With that the Hokage walked to one of the trees and simply went up the trunk as if he was still walking on the ground. On the middle he stopped and turned around to look at Naruto before he spoke. It is the same as with the leaf exercise, too much chakra and you get blasted, of the tree too less and you fall down. For this exercise you have to gather the chakra into your feet. The feet have very few tenketsu, meaning it is harder to gather chakra there. In the beginning try it with running at the tree every time before you fall, of make a slice at the tree with a kunai, this way you have always a mark too. Quote, "Hi," was the quick answer. With a nod the Hokage jumped from the tree and again motioned Naruto to follow him. He went to his house and around it. In his back garden was a small pond. Without a moment of hesitation the Hokage walked over to it and continued to walk until he stood in the middle of the pond. At this display Naruto's lower jaw seemingly dislodged from his upper jaw, the sight making Sarutobi chuckle. For this exercise you not just have to focus chakra in your feet, but constantly push it out to make you able to stand on the water. Naruto nodded, still stunned by the fact that a person really could stand and walk on the water. Thanks for displaying the exercises, Jiji, that will help me a lot. No problem Naruto. Now let's head back. He walked back to Naruto, put his hand on his shoulder and shunshined them back into the office. After arriving Naruto thanked him again and left for his apartment, the bag with the academy material in his hands. Once home he stored the books and scrolls away and started the leaf-sticking training. He planned on starting to read the books when the academy began. Since he didn't expect to be even acknowledged, he would read the books during class and train in chakra control and do physical training in the morning before academy and afterwards. While training the leaf-sticking exercise, Naruto noticed that not even once the leaf simply fell down but every time was blown off. Does that mean I have a large amount of chakra? Gigi said something like that to when I unlocked it. That's troublesome. While I then won't have the problem to have fast exhausted chakra pools, I will have a drastic problem with my chakra control if the book is right. Seems that will really be my main training aspect. With a sigh he went on with his training. 2 weeks later. Today was his first academy day and he really wasn't excited about it. Just yesterday he had finally mastered the leaf-sticking exercise by sticking 3 leaves on his body and holding them for over half an hour. Now he could start the tree walking exercise, which interested him greatly since he could run away from the mobs with it. He would turn a corner and then quickly run up the wall and hide on the roof of the house. It would spare him a lot of injuries. He quickly parted with his thoughts as he arrived at the academy. Just as he expected, he wasn't welcome. He walked through the gates, when he noticed the first hateful glares being sent to him by the parents that brought their children to the academy. With a sigh he continued towards his classroom, ignoring the stares with his fake smile present. In the class he took a place in the back corner of the room, a perfect place in his opinion. Here the others don't see me if they don't turn around and the teacher can easily ignore me, acting like he doesn't see me, since I'm at the edge of the class. And Naruto kept right, his premonition was right. In the roll call his name was spoken seemingly normal, but for those who were attentive the tensing of the teacher and the disdain if not hate in the teacher's voice were obvious. Pleased that he would get his time to read the books, he started with the first one, stopping only to eat his lunch and when the academy was over. This was the routine he decided to adapt for the academy. From time to time he brought out a few weird comments, to feed his idiot act, mostly ending with a hit on the head by one of the girls in the class, giving him the reason to shut up and continue to read his book. And he was happy with the situation. He was ignored and in return ignored the others. 1 month later. It was 1 month after the start of the academy. Naruto woke up in the morning, made himself a breakfast with milk and cereals, no instant ramen. Through the books he read he learned a lot about healthy nutrition and diet and intended to put it to good use. It already helped him. He felt more energized over the day, though he couldn't really believe it at first. He was already known as a stamina freak, but by now he seemed to have even more energy, leading him to start running laps around the village and doing some muscle training in the morning. After finishing his breakfast he went back to his bed and read for an hour. He had learned that training before breakfast was bad for the body since it had a lack of energy, but also that shortly after eating the body focused blood in the stomach area to help digest the food, which would then be missing in the muscles. So he waited and started only an hour later with his workout. Upon finishing he refreshed himself and made his way to the academy. Well, normally he would, but today was Saturday and so he had no school. Instead he went to visit his Gigi. He hadn't seen him for a while and he wanted to surprise him with something. He had finally mastered the water walking exercise 2 days ago. He would show his Gigi and ask for some easy genjutsu to practice. Knowing that he had to work even on the weekend he walked to the Hokage Tower, enjoying that it was still morning and most of the people were still at home sleeping in, leaving the streets deserted. As he arrived on the Hokage Tower he walked up and into his Gigi's office. "Hey Gigi," he greeted him. "Hello Naruto, what brings you here so early in the morning?" Naruto smiled proudly at him. "Because I wanted to show you the exercises for chakra control. I can do all of them." Only sound heard was Sarutobi's pipe fall on the floor. His sight was a view to remember, his eyes the size of dinner plates, his jaw crashed through his desk. I lasted 3 minutes until he finally spoke. "Why you want to tell me you learned all 3 chakra control exercises that even some chunin have trouble with? And that in a month? Being only 7 years old." "Ahem, yes," Naruto said, unsure how to judge his Gigi's reaction. "Holy shit. I can't believe this boy. I would have expected him in a month or 2 at the earliest, with having mastered maybe the tree walking exercise. I got to see him do that, otherwise I don't believe it. Single quote. Naruto, can you show me? The Hokage asked, unbelieving. Of course, what do you think why I'm here? With a nod the Hokage went to Naruto, grabbed his shoulders and shunshined them to his personal trainings ground. They went to the tree. The Sandaime showed Naruto the first 2 exercises. Without hesitation Naruto grabbed a few leaves, put one on his forehead and one on each cheek. All of them stick to him. After seeing it the Hokage nodded, this he could take. He just wanted to say some praising words, when Naruto turned to the tree and walked slowly up the tree until he hung upside down on a branch. As the Hokage looked at him he saw that Naruto still had the leaves on his face. You combined them, he nearly shouted in astonishment of the achievements of Naruto. What does he mean? Ooh, the leaves. But why did he shout? Was it wrong to do that? You mean the leaves? I thought it would be good to do both at the same time before I went on with water walking. Was that a bad thing? Naruto asked, a bit nervous, again unsure of the reaction he got. The Sandaime shook his head in wonder. No Naruto, that's not a bad thing, quite the opposite, it forces you to use a lot more concentration to do both things at the same time. And I must say I'm really proud of you to do this in your age, shows great talent and potential. Naruto beamed at the praise he got. And I still have to show him the water walking. Thanks Gigi. Naruto said, falling from the tree, doing a flip and running to the Hokage to hug him. Now I show you water walking, come. He ran to the small pond, pulling the smiling Hokage with him. What a little praise does to him, and he said he wanted to train to become he. As much as he tries he is still a bit child, and I'm glad for it. Arriving at the pond Naruto walked on it, still pulling the Hokage with him. As they stood in the middle he looked up at his old man, grinning like crazy. What do you say now, Gigi? I'm amazing, aren't I? The Hokage chuckled. Yes, you are, Naruto. There are only a handful of people who could do these exercises in your age. Woohoo, I'm amazing. He shouted and began to jump around on the pond. Easy there. The Hokage said, laughing. Now what is the next point on your list? He inquired. Immediately Naruto stopped jumping around. It says that I now can train some easy genjutsu, some D rank 1 to start. Can you give me a few, Gigi? No, sadly not, since you are not Shinobi yet. Naruto looked down. His Gigi was his only option to get on some genjutsu. Say Naruto, you said that you sometimes sneak into the civilian library, right? Quote. Hi. Well, a library is a library, don't you think? Huh, was Naruto's answer. Sorry, more I won't tell you. Now let's go back. He grabbed the still confused Naruto on the shoulder and shunshined back to his office. Think about it, Naruto. And your answer will come to you. With a nod and deep in thought Naruto left the office. As he came to it, he found himself on top of the Hokage monument. He went to his usual spot on top of the Yondaime's head and lied back. What could Gigi mean? A library is a library. And how does that help me? No, wrong, when I know what he means I will know how it helps. Library is library. So he means 2 different libraries. His eyes widened, of course. Konoha has the civilian, and the Shinobi library, so he wants me to sneak into it. Would make sense, they have scrolls about every Konoha jutsu, meaning also genjutsu. But also about other things, and it won't be easy. I have to make a list about what I need. Quickly he jumped up and dashed back to his apartment. Once inside he took out the list and noted everything he would need in his later training down. Genjutsu of each rank, especially the one that makes the user invisible, and he had to look up another Bu. Enshin Jutsu, since he simply couldn't do the Bunshin no Jutsu. The other 2 of the Academy 3 were no problem, but this one simply didn't go. He guessed that it didn't work because of his already massive chakra pool. Furthermore, he had watched a Junin do something that he called Kage Bunshin no Jutsu one morning during one of his laps. What intrigued him was that the Bunshin seemed solid. He decided that he would look for this Bunshin Jutsu. Lastly, he noted down to look for a scroll or book with more advanced chakra control exercises. Pleased with his note, he went to planning how he could sneak into the library. After a short visiting of his target, he began making his plan. One Chunin is guarding the entrance and one more is on top of the roof to look out for people that want to go in through the windows. A henge doesn't work since they have a detector against that. I really would like it if the henge was a physical transformation. Single quote. Suddenly it hit him like a wall of bricks. If he could transform himself physically he could simply walk in and he knew just the jutsu for it. He had found it during his training of the original henge. His own personal henge. Flashback no jutsu **********. It was on the first day he had run laps and done muscle training. Never thought it would be so hard. But whatever, no pain no gain. With a nod he stood up from the ground and started to work on the henge no jutsu. His first few tries were miserable, he didn't even look nearly like the Hokage. He had produced a faint shadow of the old mon's face that hovered over his own face. He read the scroll again and found out what he forgot. He had to put out chakra all over his body, from every tenketsu. After a few more tries he got visibly better. He now looked like the Hokage, but it was still a bit faint. He decided to put in more chakra. But this time he confused a few hand signs, without noticing it. The transformation was complete. He jumped up in joy and walked through the apartment, when he ran against his kitchen table. Ouch, my shin. Table. He cursed a while longer when he noticed something. Wait, why does my shin hurt? Normally I would hold my knee when I bump into the table. The henge is just an illusion, a kind of genjutsu even if it is only E rank. So I still should have hurt my knee even if I connected with my illusion shin. Did I do something else? Quickly he went over the hand signs he had used. Instantly he saw the different combination he, tired as he was, had used. Hoping to be right with his assumption he went to the door and reached for the top of the door frame. He could feel the corners of it, he could feel it. With a normal henge it would look as if he touched the door frame, but he wouldn't be able to actually feel it. That meant one thing, his henge was a complete transformation. Flashback no jutsu. Kai **********. With a big smile, he began to work on the next problem he had. He couldn't simply take all of the scrolls he needed with him, it would catch attention and reading alone wouldn't be sufficient. He had a good memory but not photographic memory. That meant he had to copy the scrolls and store them somehow. The scrolls he could store in a storage scroll, well, maybe more than one with the amount of genjutsus he wanted to copy. But still, simply copying them by hand would last days. He needed something like a copying jutsu, but he had no guess how to do it and he didn't know about one. Again I have to ask Gigi. Hopefully he has a hint for me. Otherwise I would have to sneak in multiple times and then someone would notice something, even if I can get in without anyone knowing. I don't want to cause problems for Gigi. Should I against all means get caught? With these thoughts he went back to the Hokage Tower. As he arrived, a Genin team just exited the office. As soon as he was out of the office, the Junin sensei said his goodbye and shunshined away, leaving his team to WALK. Well, another jutsu to copy and learn. Fast traveling was always something he could put to good use. After a knock he entered. Hey Gigi. Hello Naruto. Here again. Hi, I have a problem. I want to copy the important pages of the books you gave me for the academy. I want to make a compressed version with the facts I deem the most important, but I don't want to copy 100 pages by hand. Is there some kind of jutsu for this? Curious, the Sandaime looked at him. For what could he need something like this? Of course he understood my hint and wants to copy everything he needs, so he only needs to go in once. Clever. Well Naruto, there is a jutsu for exactly this. It is called scroll copy no jutsu 1. But you need special paper for it, which is impregnated with ink. Nice, can you show or teach me? I'm sorry Naruto, even though it is only an E-rank jutsu I can't teach it to you. You know I can't play favorite. I'm sorry, but it seems you have to copy by hand. No exception Gigi? He asked with a sad face. No, but I will teach you once you are a shinobi. Okay. Hi. Thanks Gigi. With a smile on his face he left the office. He didn't even have to fake it. Gigi knew exactly why I wanted to know this jutsu and that I can find it in the library, he even told me what I need for it. Great. As he was home, he started to practice his personal henge for a bit. After all, it isn't easy to move as a spider, if you have never done it before. After the practice he got back to reading. He guessed that he would have read and understood all of the books in approximately 4 more months. After that he would have to look for new books. Mostly about genjutsu. He wanted to become as good as he could during his time in the academy. Later in the night he went to sleep. The next morning started like every other morning. Breakfast, reading an hour, training, and since it was Sunday he had all the time in the world. Luckily ninjas had to do missions on each day, so the ninja shops had open. Hanged as a shinobi he went in and bought 4 medium-sized sealing scrolls, 2 and 1 minor sealing scroll, moreover he bought 1 stack of ink-impregnated paper. At home he sealed the package into one of the medium-sized scrolls and all of these into the minor scroll, leaving him with 1 little scroll. Prepared for later that day he used a few hours to further train his water walking in combination with the leaf sticking exercise. After lunch he then kept to reading his academy books. As the night fell he left his apartment in the form of a spider, so that no one even knew that he had left his apartment. Behind a trash can he then hanged into a normal civilian and walked towards the shinobi library, as he had only 1 corner left to turn. He stopped and watched everything around him. Satisfied to have found no one watching he hanged back into the spider and carefully made his way over to the library entrance. This were probably the hardest 10 minutes of his life. He had to dodge the feet of a few civilians on their way home and simply he had to cross a 15-feet street with the speed of a spider. As he finally arrived at his intended destination he crawled up the wall and into the library through the air conditioning. Once inside he changed back, as he was sure that no one was there. The first section he went to was about easy and supplementary skills. Scroll copy jutsu, where are you? He thought while searching. A minute later he held the scroll in his hands. Hurriedly he began to read it. Scroll copy no jutsu. To copy a jutsu lay a, with ink impregnated piece of paper, of the same length of the text you want to copy, over it. Then form the showed hand signs and channel a small amount of chakra into it. Well, that's easy. Immediately he went back to the section, where he found the scroll, put it back and took out the scroll for the Sunshine no Jutsu he had seen while searching the scroll for the copy jutsu. After unsealing his stack of paper he used the copy jutsu to copy the text from the scroll. Afterwards he went to the section with the bunshins. A short amount of searching and he found the scroll for the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, promptly he copied it. As he came to the section about genjutsu he was disappointed. There were only about 15 scrolls. And not one of the genjutsus he looked for, besides the ones from his trainings list, was there. The book didn't exaggerate when it said that only few genjutsu are known, since every genjutsu user kes their own and protects them from others. Well, I simply have to do the same. There was section in the book about it with an in-department explanation how to do it. After copying the 5 genjutsus his list wanted and that interested him, he started to look for a book about genjutsu creating and found one that explained the process of creating genjutsu and gave a few in-depth examples how some genjutsus worked. Having everything so far he looked for the last thing on his note. Chakra control exercises. In this point he wasn't disappointed. He acquired 4 more exercises. His note worked off, he sealed everything away and left the library. Not really satisfied with the amount of genjutsus but at least not caught, and having found everything else he wanted, he contently arrived back at home. Storing everything under a loose floorboard he went to bed. The next 2 weeks he was busy learning and practicing his jutsus. The Kage Bunshin no Jutsu made him especially happy, since it provided him with a guinea pig for his first attempts in using the genjutsus he got from the library. Furthermore, they could read the books for him and train in chakra control and the genjutsus. This gave him the time to focus completely on his physical training. It was a month later that he finally had read and understood all of the books the Hokage had given him. Through his Kage Bunshin he was incredibly faster, while learning that it had its limits. When more than 4 clones worked on the books, he got memory problems upon dispelling. While he had no such problems even if he used 50 clones to work on chakra exercises, he concluded that the more information clones had, the more he obviously had to process, and exactly this seemed to be the problem. After a certain amount of information his brain simply couldn't process anymore. He noticed that this limit increased over time, so he saw it as another way to train his brain's perceptive and processing abilities. After all, it couldn't be bad to have a fast-working brain, could it? While his clones read the books, his physical prowess developed in leaps and bounds. Every day he worked himself into the ground. With the passing of the second week he had even bought himself chakra weights, which get HEAV. Wire the more chakra you channeled into them. Currently he had 20 pounds on each limb. The genjutsus his book dictated him to learn were another thing, the first of them the D-rank jutsu Magen. Narukumi no jutsu that was introduced in the first chapter of the book, took him only a few tries to do. But as it came to the next one, AC rank, he failed miserably. He had no idea why it didn't work until he remembered the passage about chakra control and the total amount of chakra. Since he had such a vast amount of chakra, to do the same genjutsu as people with low chakra pools he needed much more control over his chakra. With his realization he read the 4 exercises he read about and got started on the first one. It still was the water walking exercise, but now instead of a calm, unmoving lake he had to stand on flowing water like a river. This was more difficult since the chakra he put into the river had to change constantly to fit the steadily changing currents in the water. After again adding the leaf sticking exercise to it and mastering the whole exercise, he could finally perform the C-rank jutsu his book recommended. This was actually yesterday. Since he knew about his problem with chakra control, he decided to put further practicing and learning of the last 3 genjutsu the book recommended to the side and further develop his chakra control. The next chakra control exercise was meditating. This surprised him at first, but after reading that the exercise sharpened the mind and senses and that it made it easier to control one's emotions, next to improving chakra control through enabling the chakra to flow more freely, he was more convicted to do it than before. Following the instructions he went to a place where he could calm down. Now sitting cross-legged on top of the Hokage mountain, he started to meditate. Take deep calming breaths. He closed his eyes and focused completely on the chakra in his coils, studying how it flowed around. Upon reaching his stomach he saw small flicks of foreign red chakra before it turned into his blue one. Confused, Naruto concentrated more on the place where the red chakra came from, instantly making him lose consciousness. Asterisk 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 mindscape asterisk 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 asterisk. When he woke up he found himself inside a giant cave-like room. To his right he saw a colossal steel cage. Just as he stood up a demonic voice boomed through the room. "Who has the audacity to wake me from my slumber?" Too scared by the voice to say anything, Naruto watched as 2 menacing eyes opened a couple of feet above him, before fixating him. "Ah, my jailer, what a honor that you grace me with your person," the fox said with overflowing sarcasm. "What the hell, who are you? And where are we?" Naruto screamed back, overcoming his fear with will alone. "Who I am? I am the almighty Kyuubi no Kitsune. And we're inside your mind." After saying this the cave got brighter and Naruto could see the whole body of the fox instead of only its eyes and teeth. Shocked by this, Naruto's mind went into overdrive. "Inside my mind? If this is the Kyuubi, does that mean it is sealed inside me? Like in a storage scroll? But they said it was killed by the Yondaime. But everyone calls me a demon, so it has to be true, the Kyuubi is sealed inside me. But that also means that the old man lied to me. He knew why they attack me all the time." Interested, the fox watched Naruto, astonished that he didn't scream around that everything is a lie or other crap like it. But after a short while it had enough of waiting. "Kit." Naruto blinked. "Huh," was his intelligent reply. "Finally snapped out of it?" asked the fox. "Ah yeah, had just to process the fact that you are sealed in me and the only person I trusted me didn't tell even though he knew about it." Quote. Interesting, I didn't tell him about it. Seems that he really isn't as dumb as he acted before. Say, why didn't you attack me? I simply can't. Otherwise I would be free since the day I was sealed inside you. But like this I will simply wait until you die and I am free again. The short wait for being reborn isn't really bothering me. And waiting here, well, I will simply sleep through it or watch how you do in your life. By the way, you got your talent for genjutsu from me. Wow, you aren't lazy, are you? Sleeping for maybe 50 years straight. But what do you mean I got my genjutsu talent from you? How can you use genjutsu at all? I have problems with it because of my chakra amount, but you simply consist of chakra. There should be no way for you to use genjutsu. When I say you got your talent from me, then it is like I said. And I can use genjutsu. I know a training's method to raise your chakra control extremely high. Kyuubi said, completely ignoring the comment about him being lazy. Naruto was amazed. A training's method to raise your chakra control this high that even a Biju can use genjutsu. With it even he could use genjutsu without problems. Hey Fox, can you teach me the method? I want to use genjutsu to fight. Please show me. A sigh escaped the Biju. When you promise to let me alone and not disturb me anymore. Quote, I promise. Naruto could care less about the fox, so he really hadn't a problem with the promise. Good. Slowly the fox reached for Naruto with one of his tails. As the end of the tail touched Naruto's chest, a symbol glowed before it stopped and the fox pulled his tail back. The seal you just got has different stages which make it harder to control your chakra. Train simply leaf sticking, tree wailing and water walking like you did until now, and when you can do water walking with your leaf exercise without a problem, raise the level of the seal by 1 and start again. Your aim should be level 5 or 6. With that amount of chakra control you will be able to cast any genjutsu you can think of or learn. I activated it already on level 1. So start practicing to deactivate it, simply release it, and to raise it focus chakra on it. Got that? Hi, amazing, thank you. The fox snorted. Don't forget your promise and now leave. Oh, and don't expect any help from me because if you die I will be free, so I won't help you more than the seal forces me to. Quote. With that Naruto faded from his mindscape. Off, finally silence again. Time to sleep. The fox said contentedly as his jailer left. Naruto Opening his eyes he found himself back at the Hokage mountain. Quickly he looked into his shirt to see the seal. It was a small circle on his left. As he looked at it, it slowly disappeared into his skin, becoming invisible. Nice, no one can see it like that, even if they look for it. Now back to practice. After gathering some leaves, Naruto raced back to his apartment to train with the help of a few kage bunshin. At first he thought that it would be easier than the first time, but this thought only lasted for a few minutes. After that he realized how wrong he was. He had only one advantage: he didn't need to read the descriptions again, the rest was like he never did the exercises before. As he got to bed this evening he could hold one leaf for a minute. Not much, but at least a bit. He thought as he drifted into sleep. He awoke the next morning as the sun hit his eyes. Ooh man, this sucks. I want to train, not go to the academy. At least I can leave a few kage bunshins to train chakra control. Single quote. After doing his morning routine, he went to the academy, leaving a few bunshins behind. As he arrived he sat down on his usual chair and pulled out a piece of paper, having decided that he needed a concrete plan for training. Therefore he started to write his trainings plan from now until the end of the year. Now what do I need to do? I have to train chakra control, my throwing of shuriken and kunai, practice my genjutsus, thinking of new ones for myself, then how I counter the weaknesses of genjutsu, reading the last my books and physical training. The last I must do myself, for the rest I can make clones. With a nod he wrote everything down, so he wouldn't forget anything. With the ending of the academy Naruto walked towards Ichiraku's for lunch and training afterwards. Timeskip end of first academy year It was in the afternoon as the clashing of shuriken could be heard from trainingsground number 43. Naruto dodged and waved around shuriken thrown at him by his clones, batting away those he couldn't escape from. The aim of the exercise was obvious: speed, reaction time and dodging. He continued his training until deep into the evening. As he finally finished his training, he dispelled the clones that attacked him as well as the 50 clones he had only doing chakra control. He had reached level 5 of his chakra seal, boosting his chakra control to heights normally impossible for someone with his chakra levels. But he didn't care about impossible or not. He could use every single genjutsu he had to learn following his list, and also he could perform every genjutsu he had created so far. All in all, the year had improved him in many ways. While his clones worked on chakra control and genjutsus, he developed his own taijutsu style, even if it wasn't perfect or completed, but for the moment it was to his satisfaction. He used speed and evasive maneuvers and focused on hitting the body's weak points, being pressure points, muscle attachments, tendons, joints and finally critical points like the throat. The whole style was oriented to be able to end a fight if possible with only one strike, and if this strike did end accomplish this, it would at least deal a great amount of damage, thus weakening the opponent with each hitting strike. He was quite proud of his invention. After collecting his things, he made his way back to his apartment. He was halfway when he heard some sounds of fighting. He changed his course towards the noises, only to find one of the most disgusting things he knew. 3 men held down one kunoichi who weakly tried to defend herself. After seeing that the woman was in fact Anko Mitarashi, he wondered, what the hell? Normally these 3 would be near dead by now, wincing for their lives for trying what they just did. Something isn't right. As he looked closer at her, he saw where the problem was. Her skin glistened of sweat and her pupils were dilated to unnormal proportions. Seems like she was drugged. If she were a normal civilian, I may have ignored it, but not with her. Yes, Naruto had made quite the turn in his mindset over the past year. He only cared for those that had a life like his or his precious persons, the rest simply didn't interest him anymore. Setting his resolve, he dashed towards them while doing hand signs. Sleep of endless nightmares, he whispered under his breath. Nearly instantly the 3 men went rigid before collapsing to the ground. Sleep of endless nightmares was one of the first genjutsu he created. It caused the victim to fall into a deep sleep, only awakening if the genjutsu was released. While sleeping, they were forced to relive every of their own darkest nightmares plus some of the worst things that happened to him thanks of the villagers. The idea came to him as he remembered the day he learned that he had a talent for genjutsu, through letting the attackers feel his pain. He thought it would be a good way to take revenge upon them. And to say that he was quite happy with the results was an understatement, as he watched them throwing themselves from one side to another, while not being able to wake up. Anko herself just looked confused at the winding bodies of the 3 men in front of her. It took her quite a while until her drugged mind had figured out that they were under a genjutsu. She looked around until she saw Naruto standing on one of the neighbor rooftops looking down on the men with a quite sadistic smile. Happy to know that she was safe and who saved her, she succumbed to the darkness, sliding into blissful unconsciousness. Her last thoughts surprisingly clear. Hope I can see that smile in some time again. Single quote. Naruto continued to watch the men for some minutes until he turned and left, knowing that a few Anbu were on the way to the alley. I wonder how they will be when they are released from the genjutsu. Naruto thought as he arrived at home. Pushing this thought to the back of his mind, he drifted away into sleep. The next day he awoke from a loud knocking on his front door. Sleepy, he went to the door and opened it. In front of him stood an cat-masked Anbu. Before the Anbu could even open her mouth, he already replied, "I know I will be in Gigi's office as soon as I change my clothes." With a nod she shunshined away. A sigh left Naruto's mouth as he closed the door and changed into his clothes. I knew that he would learn about the incident, but how does he know that I had a part in it? Did Anko tell him? Or was there someone else I didn't notice? Nah, I don't think I would have missed someone else. So it was Anko, but why? Shaking his head to get it clean of the thoughts, Naruto made his way towards the Hokage Tower. Once there, he went inside the office, ignoring the secretary like usual. Inside he found the old man and Anko Mitarashi. Both looked at him as he entered the room. The Hokage a serious but proud expression on his face. Anko looked at him with a smile, not one of her sadistic smiles she showed towards the villagers, but a warm, thankful smile. As I thought. Hey Gigi, Mitarashi-san. He nodded towards the corresponding person. Hello Naruto. Instead of greeting him, Anko walked over to him and pressed him into her chest. Thanks Gaki brat. You don't know how much you helped me yesterday. I don't know what I would have done if they had been able to go through with what they planned to do to me. Carefully Naruto hugged her back, actually thankful to feel her warmth. Was he never before in his life hugged by a woman? No problem. I can't let something like this happen to anyone, especially to someone who is like me, ostracized by most of this village, Mitarashi-san. The Hokage flinched noticeably upon hearing this, knowing that Naruto told the truth. Nevertheless, thanks. And you can call me Anko, she said as she let go of him. But tell me, what did you do to them? The little bit I still remember looked rather painful. She asked, a sadistic glint in her eyes. Before I tell you, how are they, Gigi? If I saw their vests right, they were Chunins, right? The Hokage looked at him with a stern face. Firstly, thank you for saving Anko from these three. To your questions, yes, they are Chunins. After we woke them up, they started to scream to let them in peace. No one can go near them in the moment, they fear everyone. If someone comes near them, they get panic attacks and try to run away or attack the person if they can't run. So what did you do to them? Also, hearing the report for the first time, Anko's eyes got as big as plates. She looked as if she would start to drool every second alone from thinking about such a method to inflict pain on a psychological level. Naruto just looked unbelieving. You serious? He asked. His answer was a nod from the Sandame. Seeing this, Naruto could only shake his head. My genjutsu sleep of endless nightmares only lets the victim relive their own nightmares and a few of the things this village did to me. If they get crazy just from this less, I don't even want to think what happens when they have to life through everything I had to life through. Would they kill themselves to escape the memories? Or would their brains simply shut down? I hope the ones who you trust with the village secrets have a higher mental fortitude, Gigi. Because if not, every capable interrogator can get information out of them, if they are caught. Hell, I could probably do it. Everyone in the room looked down as Naruto explained his technique, again realizing just how bad he had it. I really have no point in complaining how hard my life is. His is by far worse than mine. I at least had an ordinary childhood. He has only bad memories since he lives. Single quote. Were Anko's thoughts, though there were also different ones, especially with one of the hidden Anbus. The demon has made his own genjutsu. No wonder we nearly never got him in the past year. If he can make his own genjutsu, there is no thinking what else he can possibly do. I have to tell the C. Council later. We have to do something. He can't grow any stronger. While the Anbu continued to follow his thoughts, the conversation in the office started again, well ended. Now if you have nothing else, Gigi, I will go back to my apartment. Before he notices that I said that it was my genjutsu, wouldn't want to answer questions about what else I can do. After being dismissed through the Sandame's nod, he left the room and went back to his apartment. Today he wanted to increase the level of the seal by another one, finally reaching the height the Kyuubi had told him was optimal. Asterisk 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 Hokage asterisk 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 asterisk. As soon as he saw Naruto walking off to his apartment, he noticed what he had forgotten to ask him. Shit. Escaped him for everyone audible. Hokage-sama, inquired Anko. I forgot to ask him if this is really his genjutsu like he said, and if what else. Has he invented other genjutsu? Or has he invented something else? I haven't watched him in the last time since he wasn't attacked by mobs, or he could escape them, of course. There is no way the villagers wouldn't attack him for over half a year. That means that he is able to escape from them since over half a year. Why did I never notice this? Damn, this got Anko thoughtful. The Hokage is right. How is he able to use genjutsu, and even use one I have never heard of before? I will ask Kurenai if she has heard of a jijutsu like the one he described and named. Quote, Do that, Anko, and report. Dismissed. With a nod, Anko left the room in search for her best friend, the genjutsu mistress of Konoha, Kurenai Yuhi. Asterisk 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 Anko asterisk 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 asterisk. Anko found her friend sitting in the dango shop they normally met. Quickly she walked over to her. Hey Nai-chan. Hello Anko. Hadn't we said that you wouldn't use this nickname? Anko pouted. But it sounds cute, Nai-chan. With a sigh she motioned to the seat opposite of her. What can I do for you, Anko? She asked. What can't I simply meet my best friend? You can, but I can see it in your eyes that you want to know something. So, not fair. You read me like a book. I would like that, but sadly no. Nevertheless, how can I help you? Have you ever heard about a genjutsu called Sleep of Endless Nightmares? After a short while of thinking, she answered. No, never heard of it. She leaned forward. But tell me, what does this genjutsu do? Anko hesitated. She didn't know if she was allowed to talk about what happened. Anko, please tell me it is a genjutsu. You know that I want to know about every genjutsu. Kurenai pressed on. Well, I am a part of it, so I should have the right to talk about it. Anko too leaned forward. Okay, but you have to promise not to tell anyone. She said seriously. Immediately Kurenai changed her behavior. I promise. Now what happened? And so Anko repeated the happenings of the last night and off this morning. As she ended, Kurenai had a smile on her face. So he really started on genjutsu. Maybe I should talk with him and eventually we could exchange techniques if he really has some of his own. Amused, Anko watched Kurenai as she drifted in her own dream world and dreamed about new genjutsu. She is like a fangirl who fantasizes over her crush. Only that her crush are genjutsus. Kurenai. Konoha to Kurenai. Was her reply as she resurfaced from her dream world. Thought about your special friend? She asked with a teasing smile on her face. Kurenai blushed lightly. No, I was not. Don't you have to report to the Hokage instead of teasing me? Ooh, do you want to get rid of me? I'm hurt, Nai-chan, she said with a smile on her face before leaving. Kurenai just shook her head and wanted to go back to her dango, but as she looked down onto her plate it was empty. Anko! She screamed. In front of the door, Anko had a smile on her face before shining away to evade the furious Kurenai. I win, Nai-chan, she thought. Once inside the office she gave her report, before going home to get a refreshing amount of sleep to be prepared for her night shift in the T&I department. Asterisk 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 Hokage asterisk 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 asterisk. Today was definitely one of the worst days in his life. It was 2 days since Naruto was in his office after saving Anko. And right now he was waiting for Naruto to tell him what happened earlier that day. He hadn't to wait for long before a knock on the door announced Naruto. Enter. The door opened and Naruto walked in. Hey Gigi. What's going on? He asked, though he already suspected that it had something to do with the night 2 days ago. Hello Naruto. The sad tone of the Hokage only affirmed his guess. What happened? The council. Naruto expressed his guess. He was right, the Hokage flinched. Yes Naruto, the council. Earlier today I had a meeting. It was about your saving of Anko. Asterisk 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 flashback no jutsu asterisk 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 asterisk. As Sarutobi walked into the council room, only the civilian council part and the elders were there. What is the reason for this meeting? And why isn't the Shinobi council part present? One of the elders answered him. Because the matter doesn't concern the Shinobi part of the council. It is about an attack from a civilian on 3 Chunins. He could already guess where this would lead. Enlighten me. I know of no attack from a civilian on 3 of my Chunin. One civilian council member furrowed his forehead. You know exactly what we mean. The demo. He was interrupted by a huge wave of ki that nearly sent him into unconsciousness. You mean? Asked the Hokage in a cold voice. Uzumaki-san attacked 3 Chunin and sent them in medical care, probably rendering them unable to go back into duty. Quote, as far as I know, Naruto saved one of my Junin from rape through these 3 pieces of scum. So a civilian was able to overwhelm 3 Chunin and render them unable to continue duty, for probably forever. That raises some questions, don't you think? How is it possible that a civilian is capable of something like this? How did he do it? He simply put them under a genjutsu. Not more and not less. The elders and council members nodded. The other elder spoke. Then it is clear. There is no way the child could use a genjutsu capable of rendering 3 chunin immobile at once when he isn't even a genin. That lets only one conclusion: the demon inside him has taken over. And since you don't allow him to be executed, he will be forbidden to continue in the academy, and since he is still a civilian and not under your jurisdiction, this council declares him expelled from the Shinobi program and excludes him from the list of possible genin candidates, so he can't grow any stronger. Are they not right in their heads, these shitheads? He is in no way taken over by the demon sealed inside him. He trains since he started to go in the academy, hell, even before. One more point: that he is at least influenced. No child of his age would train outside the academy. All the children of the shinobi clans train outside the academy. And the child has no one to train him. The children of the shinobi clans are pushed by their parents and trained from them. He is an orphan and has no one to train or motivate him. It is impossible that he trains simply by himself and gets this far. Without a doubt he is influenced, if not taken over, by the Kyuubi. So you say that someone without parents cannot be interested in the shinobi arts and train himself? That preposterous. Why do other orphans start with their shinobi career through going to the academy if orphans have no interest in the shinobi arts? It is insignificant what you say. This is a civilian matter. We just announced this meeting to hear from you if the rumors were correct. Now if you will excuse us, we have other matters to attend. They finished the conversation, as they had enough from the fore and back, and left without any further discussion, each of them a smug grin on their face, leaving a fuming but helpless Hokage. Flashback no jutsu. Kai **********. And now you are expelled from the academy and forbidden to become a shinobi of Konoha. I'm sorry, but I have no say in it since you are still a civilian. He could see how Naruto's face hardened. So they finally did it. They took my last chance of a little bit of a normal life. Each word crashed down like a hammer strike on him. They spelled exactly 3 words time and time again. He had failed. Single quote. Now if you have nothing else, I will go back. I have to think what I will do now. I will come back tomorrow. He nodded sadly. There was nothing he could do for Naruto anymore. He couldn't even hold his last promise to Naruto. Naruto ************************. So they did it. My last chance to get some kind of acceptable life in this village is ripped to shreds. The question is what to do now. Staying would be suicidal. I can consider myself lucky if there isn't already a mob on the way to my apartment waiting for me. Leaves only one option: I have to leave the village. But what then? Going to another village? I would probably be treated even worse, or simply like an emotionless weapon because of the Kyuubi. Living in some nun-ninja village is nothing I'm interested in. Seems like I will become a mercenary. Since I am not a shinobi, I can't be declared a missing nin. As a mercenary I can still use my skills, travel around and get paid for my service, and if that is not enough I can still capture a few missing nins. Yep, that sounds good. Well, first I have to train a bit more and gather information how I can get missions and requests, but that will work out. I have just to find some other mercenaries. Now to leave the village. If I tell Gigi tomorrow, he will do anything in his might to stop me because of the cube. Inside of me, of that I am sure. So I will pack my things and leave right now. And tomorrow I will send him a Kage Bunshin acting as if he was me. Maybe I can persuade him that it is the right thing, and when not I will be already miles away. Single quote. As he came out of his thoughts he stood in front of his apartment door. Quickly he went in, packed the things he would need into his storage scrolls, took the money he had saved over the years from its hidden place from under a loose floorboard, and made his way towards the gate. In one side street next to the gate he made a clone with enough chakra to survive for roughly 2 days and hanged into a random civilian. Without being stopped he went through the gate. As soon as he was out of view, he began tree-hopping towards the next village to buy some new clothes and a few tea. NGS necessary to live under the open sky. Asterisk 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 clone asterisk 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 asterisk. It was in the morning of the next day as the clone made his way towards the Hokage Tower. The night was rough to describe it mildly. If he hadn't hidden himself so good he would have died without a question. There were alone 4 different mobs that patrolled around his apartment, each armed with sharp or pointed weapons. Even a few shinobi were with them. With a sigh he climbed the stairs to speak with the Hokage, presumably for the last time in a few years. After knocking on the door, he waited until he was allowed inside and entered. "Hey Gigi. Hello Naruto. And to what conclusion have you come?" He looked as if he hadn't slept this night. Well, I'm pretty sure he didn't. Single quote. I decided to leave the village. I mean, here is nothing anymore that keeps me alive or can give me a better life. You can't do anything for me anymore since I can't become a shinobi and the villagers won't leave me alone. Only tonight there were 4 mobs patrolling the area around my apartment, and to be earnest, I have no need to live my whole life in fear of being killed every second. I am not observant enough. A deep sigh escaped the Hokage. As much as I can understand you, I can't let you leave the village. Let's see how much he is ready to tell me. And why not? I'm sorry I can't tell you. So you mean you can't tell me that the Kyuubi is Seal?